Hey guys, I just wanted to talk about my own experience with basically what was medical Cointelpro. So I was at the University of Alberta Hospital. It was actually February 9th that I was admitted. It was during my birthday. Pretty much, well, my birthday is February 10th, and this all happened amazingly on my birthday, but I went to the university hospital here in Edmonton, and I went to the hospital to be basically medically evaluated. I was suicidal. At this time, I wasn't really sure what was going on in terms of my involvement in the program. I didn't quite know. So I go in, I speak to the triage nurse, and I fell asleep in the waiting room. I'm just gonna go up through point by point. I'm not great at, talking. So I was home most of the time, I still am. And I was tired and I was in distress. At this time, I was already sleep deprived. I had only gotten a little bit of sleep. Me and my fiance were living on the streets, right on the streets. Basically sleeping in the LRT stations, which is, it's basically the streetcar stations. And they have the little shelters set up there for passengers to sit in there and keep out of the elements, keep warm. And so I was lying on the floor in the waiting room. Like I said, I already spoke to the triage nurse. She knew I was there for medical distress. I was experiencing mental health distress. I woke up. And I was told by security, I was woken up just as I was falling asleep, that I can't sleep in here. I can't do that. I didn't care at that point. Again, I was suicidal. I didn't care. So I was basically thrown out of the hospital by security and police, and I was handcuffed. And after that, it was the most bizarre thing. I was driven around in the back of a police car. I didn't know where I was going, but I overheard the police officers were saying, well, let's take him to the Hope Mission. So I was taken to the Hope Mission, which is a homeless shelter here, and we basically parked out front of the Hope, and I overheard them saying, well, we just can't dump him here. So they drove me back to the hospital, and when they did, I was admitted almost immediately, and I was strapped down. I wasn't allowed to keep a blanket over my head. I was even trying to, maybe get some sleep in between the time that I could see the nurse or the doctor. So security was watching me, and I wasn't allowed to keep a blanket over my eyes to shield out. They were bright lights, really bright lights. I wasn't allowed to do that. So basically, I wasn't allowed to sleep. There was no way I was going to get any sleep with that kind of lighting. And so I was being observed by security guards all the time. And of course, they were playing skits in front of me. And they were actually quite homoerotic in nature. And anyway, some time passed. After the skits were done, I spoke to somebody who introduced herself as a mental health nurse or a doctor. I can't remember. But I just remember she wasn't very warm at all. As a matter of fact, it felt like I was there wasting her time, and she gave me that impression. And with all of this that just happened, this was a pretty traumatic experience, that I had been through. I couldn't explain to her what was going on, and I was sleep deprived. I was disoriented, and I was trying to make sense of why this nurse was having this attitude towards me, especially since she's supposed to be a medical professional, and I'm experiencing a crisis right now. And yeah, I was trying to make sense of her attitude, why it was the way it was, and I was discharged. After that, I was discharged without treatment. So yeah, it was very bizarre. So I just wanted to share that one instance of basically medical Cointelpro. There was other ones. There's 2 other incidents that I'm going to talk about later, but 2 different cities, Edmonton and Mississauga. So yeah, that's the first video about that, and yeah, take care. God bless.